Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Proving Ground Circuit Qualifier. We're here starting off in Group C, and Fear starting off with a dub so far in this best of three here. Smats, look pretty good for them so far.
Yeah, pretty contentious early game, honestly. As AOE Randoms did have some fun stuff going on at that stage of the game. They were going for some pretty fun plays in the bottom lane. We're not a Glass continues to be a good champion. However, wasn't enough. And Cincinnati Fear did end up taking that first game. The Lily asleep. That was just way too good, man.
Too good, too good. And it was the rest of the team being able to follow up past that, making sure that everything happened from that point forward was in their control. But like you said, it was contentious. It was something that it was swinging back and forth. The gold lead was basically even all the way up until about the 22 minute marker, and it was just a back and forth affair between these two. Neither one able to really find an advantage over the other.
Yeah, the interesting thing about games like that is when you do have games that are super even, the scaling team tends to be in the lead. So honestly, in my opinion, it was AOE Randoms favored for a very long time up until it just turned out that Trickster wanted to win the game and he completely took it into his own hands. And then Sketch, of course, cleaning that up, double quadra kill in one game. Whew. It was a really good team fight showing for Cincinnati Fear, again showing us why they did get to the finals in the last tournament, why they were in the 4-0 game in the most recent Open Qualifier, and why they are the first seed in this group and favored to progress. They look really solid, and I'm hoping that they can keep this one up as well, because, you know, don't tell those Academy guys, but I kind of hope Amateur does well at this year's Proving Grounds in the summer.
Yeah. You can tag them in this one. I hope they do do really well. But yeah, I think it's always very fun whenever you get to see the competition come in here, and whenever we get into the second circuit qualifier here, we start to see some of these teams ramping up. We're starting to see them actually gel together. A lot of these teams, like Fear and AOE Randoms, they have a lot of players that have played with each other for a good period of time now, and we're seeing those teams start to gel together. And it does kind of come into the question for AOE with them gelling together and looking to find their foothold. I'm curious on what adaptation they're going to look to make against Fear, who has had much more time to gel together, to make sure that they're all on the same page in these team fights.
And while we're talking about this entire split, also for AOE Randoms, they do have some points built up, but they do really need to get wins in this group and maybe even get into the bracket stage to actually qualify for the main PG event, because there are a lot of contenders for that top 6 and even more for that top 10, where you actually do get to play in the play-in if you are 7 to 10. So for AOE Randoms, I'm sure that's where their goal is set, to try to get into that top 10, but there's a lot of road left to travel before they get there. And against Cincinnati Fear, they don't necessarily have to beat them to progress through this group, but they do have to put up some big performances, and beating Cincinnati Fear certainly would help.
What a nice start it would be, though, right? Like, if you beat Cincinnati Fear, you get the nice pat on your back. You're like, all right, we beat the finalists. We got everything. We came back after they won game number 1 and reverse swept them. Like, AOE Randoms, they're still definitely looking what they can do. We have a flip in the side selection, so AOE Randoms is now going to be on the red side. So I'm wondering, how does this change up things for them going into the draft?
It's really an advantage that AOE Randoms has on their side here, Travesty. Something that I haven't brought up until this point, but something that I need to remind the people of.
Oh, Smets a secret knowledge.
On AOE Randoms, they have a manager, and her name is Gabrielle. And I met Gabrielle in Minnesota in person. Oh. We're good friends. Oh. And Gabrielle is the difference maker here. Because Gabrielle and I have met in person, she has the smacks buff. So I'm just letting you know here, Travesty, there's no possible way that AOE Randoms could lose.
Colthrow's your sensei. You've got a new friend over there. Like, there's all sorts of smash buffs that are being applied.
It's not a new friend here, Travesty. Me and Gab go way back. Okay. We've been friends ever since the Cloud9 days. All right.
Ooh.
I watched her play in Cloud9 training grounds. She has a really good Alistar, and she can teach Pocus that as well, I'm sure. Pocus is getting the Alistar reps in as we speak.
You know what? You got me sold here, but you know what else is sold this ban phase? They've gone through and said, all right, no Zeri, no more of that. Don't want any of that. And Fear said, you know what, Udyr? No Cutthroat, no more of that.
Yeah, not removing any of the really, really broken first pick champions. Leaving those up for AoE randoms to deal with, like the Zeri, like the Seraphine. And now it's a Gangplank snipe. Geiger won't get his hands on this champion. He did first pick in the last game, and Dragoon seems to be trying to steal that one away from him as the first pick on both sides of the matchup.
Do you think Geiger looks to flip things around? We got to see how the Aatrox performed into the Gangplank last time around, and we've seen a lot of people's answer to the Gangplank be just smash it in lane.
I'm going to be honest here with you, Travesty. That would be a bold move for Geiger, because if I'm a top laner in this situation, and I'm not a very good top laner, mind you, but if I'm the top laner in this situation, and I just got completely destroyed in a matchup, and the other person wants to pick the other side of the matchup that I just played, I'm not picking Aatrox there, because then I'm going to lose both sides of the matchup. Now, again, Geiger is much better than me, but I like this adaptation to not go for the Aatrox and try to avoid it altogether with this Cho'Gath. This is fun.
Yeah, I personally really like Cho'Gath. I think he's really, really fun into a lot of melee matchups too, so very exciting. And Psycho is bringing out a signature AD carry for themselves, grabbing the Jhin. So seeing the Jhin lock in, but on the other side, Fear, they say, all right, yeah, we'll just take scaling carries again.
Jhin is super interesting to pick really early into a draft, because if you aren't careful, you will actually face a lot of tanks on the other team, and Jhin just cannot kill those. Here's an example of them right now, Travesty. Leona. Leona's a champion that Jhin really can't touch at all, because he deals so much burst damage and so much execute damage. But Leona has so much innate tankiness with her W and all the items that she builds as well. That's one tank for Cincinnati Fear, and they still have a jungle that they can pick and go for yet another tank, which would leave Jhin completely worthless. But I like the Nemesis 9 is covering the bases and going for this Azir to get some more DPS.
Yeah, getting a little bit more scaling DPS to go for them. They can be quite a bit chunky, and it does give them something, like you said, DPS in the middle of the game. Now they get to focus down Fear's mid laner. They're focusing down Blaze inside the second phase.
Moving some of these options that can be used as a counter pick into the Azir. The classic Corki and Azir matchup won't happen today. You know, Corki's not nerfed yet. They're nerfing him next patch. I keep mentioning next patch, but Corki's still okay on this patch. You can still.
I'm still abusing him. That's absolutely right.
Oh yeah, you've been playing a lot of mid lane, Travesty.
I play a lot of Phil, so usually I have like 2 champions when I play Phil, and Corki's one of them.
5-way flex,
very good to go. Yeah, just go into Fletz with whatever you got, man.
No, I'm saying, are you playing Corki as a 5-way flex? Are you playing a jungle and support? And
Ooh, no, I haven't dabbled into the dark magics there yet. No, I haven't gone into the Corki jungle yet. So we're waiting on that one. We're letting that one bake for a little bit, but you know, some of that is not done baking here. Is that Swain lock in?
Okay, speaking of DPS in those team fights, Swain going to be super fun. I really like this champion into engage and into melees, and that is something that AoE Randoms has a little bit of. They've got this Cho'Gath, they've got this Rakan. As long as there's one big tanky member on the other team, you can keep your Demonic Ascension going really an entire team fight long. All you need is that one guy to stay alive and be in range of you, and it just keeps going. You keep draining HP, and that's something that's super, super entertaining about this champion. The other thing here, if you stack up into the late game, you can get like 3k HP just with your passive and your items. So again, pretty tricky for Jhin to kill you.
Yeah, I was actually about to touch on that. You were talking about Jhin. If you pick it early, then just draft a bunch of tanks. Leona and Swain can get pretty tanky, and Viego even has some tight tank itemization that they can go for, right? The death stance that we've seen on Viegos from time to time and stuff like that could be a bit rough as time goes on.
A lot of team fighting capabilities here for Sketch. Again, I love to see that one. Even though the Zeri's banned away, he's still going for one of those hyper carries that we love to see from him. And, you know, I'll admit it. In the past, I've been a little critical of Sketch's champion pool. He's been doing a lot better recently. He's been playing a lot of different champions and still performing very, very well on them. And I'm very happy to see that. My boy Brady is putting in the work. And this is a good time to mention this, Travesty.
Yes.
So we asked the players a lot of fun facts and trivia about themselves.
We did.
One of the questions that we asked of everyone was, is there a player that you look up to or you consider to be your best friend in the amateur and like NA space? And Brady said no, but I know why he said that. It's because the person who is his best friend, the person he looks up to, is me. Me and Brady are best friends, Travesty. We're like this, you know. We're good buds.
So, does that mean that the buff for AOE randoms is counteracted by your buff with Brady?
No, see, that's a nerf. To be
nerf.
that good of friends with me, that's actually a nerf. You can see that in our Clash games recently, where me and Brady played Clash together. We actually did not win a single game. So, yeah, that was pretty rough. We're gonna have to try again another time. Granted, I was off-rolled, so. Or was
That's
I
a difference
off-rolled?
maker.
No, he was off-rolled. I was off-rolled too. We were both off-rolled.
I mean, it can't be you. I've played against you, Smat, so it couldn't have been you. It's fine.
yeah, it's definitely not me. It's definitely the challenger player on my Flash team. Yeah. No, we were both off-rolled. I was playing mid and he was playing jungle. I think if we were playing bottom lane, we might have had a chance. You know, we're pretty good at that bottom lane. Like I said, we're best friends. So
best friends, inseparable, except in Clash. But
yeah, well, no, we were still together in Clash because we were playing mid jungle duo. It just didn't work, you know. So
I feel like you're kind of going into the depths of like a little bit of sadness as you're thinking back to it. Like, I could have been a dove.
You know, we could have changed some things about the gameplay. You know, I could have played better personally. I think a lot of people could have played better in those games. You know, I don't want to name names or anything, but Alk Battery was also in those games.
Ooh,
and
heard about that guy.
Yeah, I mean he's something else sometimes. You know.
Crazy.
No, I'm
off
just
the
kidding.
chain.
Alk Battery was doing a good job. It was mostly me. I'm not very good at mid lane.
But looking at some players that are very good in mid lane, Nemesis 9 and Blaze, they both had really good performances in that last game. This time around, we have Nemesis 9 playing the Azir, looking to do the DPS inside this game. This is game number 2, and we got Blaze on something different, going around and switching things around. You were talking about swapping things around, constantly changing up your champion pool. You know, Blaze has been doing quite a bit of that himself.
You know, Travesty.
Mm-hmm.
The last time that we saw Blaze and Swain on the screen at the same time together was when he got dunked on by Darkwings in the finals, and that was relatively recently. And I'm not trying to you know, pile on to Blaze here. I'm saying that he witnessed that and is now like, oh,
good champ.
Swain's good, huh? Okay, I can try this one out. And now he's doing that for us today. He's an adaptable guy.
I can attest to this. This is the same thing I do. I'll lose to something. I'll be like, oh, that's really broken. I'll do it next. Used to be the way the world goes. Geiger laying in a little bit of early aggressiveness onto Jagroon. Curiously, we also have a completely different jungle matchup here between the two. Coulter's gone back to Graves, while Tritzer's gone back to Viego.
Very similar clears right now on either side. Is both of them still trying to path toward that bottom lane. Makes sense. There's already been quite a bit of fighting in this lane as Focus. Very big struggles here.
Yeah, look at this. Ignite the Rockets' first blood. Get excited, Cincinnati Fear fans, as that is a first blood 2.5 minutes in.
Man. That's what happens when you get the level 2 spike on Sketch and Flux here in this lane, where you have a Leona. This is what she does best. She give all this pressure in the lane. You have more range with the Jinx as well to clear out these minions super quickly. And Cincinnati Fear just played out the first few moments of this lane excellently. They even get a crash on that wave underneath the turret too, so they're not even going to miss anything for recalling. Beautiful, beautiful stuff here for Sketch and Flux as they do secure that first blood. It goes over to the Leona, but hey, I love getting gold on Leona here. And Flux, again, I'm sure he's going to love that too. He does, as we mentioned before, it's very easy for him to carry weights, so I'm sure it's going to be very easy for him to carry his team.
It's very funny. I was talking about the duality of Plutz off screen, where I was looking at the open qualifiers, and I was like, on one hand you have a Yuumi player, on the other hand you have a Leona player. It's just two most played champions inside the open qualifier, and I was just like, that's actually kind of hilarious. Also, is something that is hilarious is Trickster is down here already, looking to pop around the corner. I think he got seen there.
Yeah, bit unlucky. Not quite the alcove gaming that he was looking for. He's delaying his recall though, anticipating the cold throw will show up, and that's object permanence for you.
They find him. The stun connects onto Psycho. Good amount of damage being traded back and forth, but a flash is burned by Trickster. Continuing to march forward, though. They're looking for more. A beautiful flash engage from Plutz. Cold throw running for the hills, but he gets zapped. As that is a kill for Sketch.
Man, nobody tanked it for cold throw, my boy. He was done dirty there. Sketch picking up another kill. The Cincinnati Fear, and everything is going right for the Fear in the bottom lane. The best thing to ever come out of Ohio. 2-0 in this game.
2-0 right now, and doing a great job for themselves. Look at see if they can do more. That Sketch has blue buff now, man. That just permanent rocket. Psycho not going to enjoy that. Plutz hex teching into the lane, looking for another target to slay.
Yeah. Oh man, I like blue buff on Jinx. You get to zap everybody, just like we saw when Psycho and Focus they let the zap come through on the cold throw. I'm sure they thought he could dodge it. You know, I've been in those situations.
Oh no, Dragoon! Oh, that's a shotgun. It will beat the pistol. And thankfully, Dragoon has a flash to get away from that matchup.
I've been in those situations too. But specifically in bottom lane, you know, touching on Alk Battery again, real briefly here. There have been many times where he gets hit by skill shots in lane, and then he's like, man, why didn't you tank that for me? And the answer is always, I could dodge it. Why didn't you dodge it? And yeah, I stand by that. Now, in that instance, that was literally the only time that cold throw could die. And I understand. I empathize with both parties here, is what I'm saying.
I like, as I'm going through the story, I'm just watching Plutz bully Focus constantly. Like, it's just like he doesn't even have aftershock, and he's going underneath the tower to like stun him and ignite him. It's almost on the edge of BM, honestly.
Yeah, it's just a light bullying here on Summoner's Rift. Sometimes you just gotta do it. You gotta do it to him. We have a very important.
Oh yeah,
fun
this is
fact
Sketch. Is there anyone outside of League who has decided to hear about your matches? Look at that.
Hi, Brady's mom.
Yeah, hey, Brady's mom.
Your son did a great job in the last game. He's doing a great job now, also.
Yes, he's doing a good job. If you're watching, you should be watching. But yes. Is this a Moonstone Swain?
Are you shaming Brady's mom?
No,
She's not watching.
No, I'm sure Brady's mom has got it going on. It's fine. But Nemesis 9 is trying to run away now. There's a lot of CC here in the mid lane. He escapes.
I'm gonna backpedal here just briefly.
You sure you want
is there anything you'd like to say to Brady's mom? Any more things you need to get out there?
No, I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, my my time is done.
Okay. Just check. I wanted to give you the floor there for a moment.
It perfectly good from this point forward. I think I'll give the floor back to the game here.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you talk more about all
Can we bring up Travesty's cam real quick? I want to see what shade of red he's rocking.
Can we not do that? Be greatly appreciated. As Trickster just got a shade of red. Look at that! Wow.
Hey!
Hey!
There he is. Any moms out there? That's your boy. All right. Rift Herald started up. I'll take us to the next spot here, Travis. The Rift Herald was attempted by Trickster. As AOE randoms, they're actually bringing quite the cavalry here. trying to compete with this. They don't see Flux, and they might not see their downfall if Flux can land a nice engage here.
Why not? Sketch is not around. Nemesis 9 is not around. So let's see how it turns out. The mist is enough to spook them. Still a little bit of a dance around, though. Artillery coming in. Super Mega Death Rocket connects. Psycho gets dropped. Blaze is still in the middle of it all. Hawk is trying to escape for his life, but the crows know where he's at. They flash over the wall, and Trickster is on the hunt for Cold Throw. He's running away with Shelly in the pocket.
Very similar to the last game, the fight around this Rift Herald, but oh boy, the Zenith Blade under the turret here, Travesty. This is not good.
Let's has no mercy, and Trickster is going to follow through with that. Easy kill for them to be able to get. The curtain call comes in, but not able to tag what's on the end. But the Shurima coming in, the Emperor finds himself double buff. Buff transfer completed.
That was closer than I think Nemesis 9 would have liked to admit to him actually escaping, but Trickster does inevitably fall down. It's only 3 kills. I say only as if that's not impressive. That's a lot of kills for Cincinnati Fear. But AO Randoms, they do pick up the pieces there, and they did secure the Rift Herald, so more gold where that came from. Let's watch this one again. Look at this pincer here. From all of members of Cincinnati Fear, they all engage at the same time, right as the Jinx rocket is about to land, too, so they can't even dodge it. They're hit by the snare. And you can see where Sketch actually is. He was in the bot side river when that happened, so to have the foresight there is immense. Really nicely played here from Cincinnati Fear, and at this point, they're just playing with their food.
Yeah, they're nomming down very quickly. They don't pay respect to the Azir coming up, but also, like you highlighted, Nemesis 9 took a super huge chunk of damage inside of that trade. A little bit of fighting going on in the top side as well. See an orange, it will be K.
He's really low right now. And he doesn't look that low, but you got to remember there's a feast button that guy can press. So if he does get hit by that rupture that we saw him dodge expertly, the tides can turn very, very quickly over back to Geiger, who has been doing quite a nice job in this lane, funny enough. He was able to push in Dragoon earlier, Kothro punishing a bit by delaying the recall, if you'll remember a few minutes ago, and that actually did net Geiger a plate, so he has a bit more gold than Dragoon, if you don't account Gangplank's passive, and that's pretty nice.
How do you feel about Imperial Mandate mid lane swaying, by the way? Because that's what we got from Blaze.
I've been seeing this a lot, and I've gotta let people know what the truth is for the Swain build, okay? So this one, you get damage, right? But there's another support item that I think people are missing, and that is Moonstone. And I want to credit Respawn Therapy, Dr. Jordan here, the physical therapist for Evil Geniuses. He came up with a Swain build that is really nice, and I've been playing it a lot myself. I really enjoy it. It is Moonstone Swain. And you look at that and you're like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. It's a support item. It doesn't deal any damage. What are you doing? It gives you heal shield power, and that works with your ultimate. So you get to heal and stay in the fights longer. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Build yank in the top side, but I mean, yeah, leave it to a physical therapist to pick a build that will leave you feeling rejuvenated, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it fits with his profession as well. I love it. Swain expert Jordan. I love that guy.
Yeah. As right now, AOE randoms not loving the plan that Cincinnati Fear has here. Just getting forced off of this tower. No mercy to be shown. That is 2 plates just taking raw in the bot lane.
There's not a whole lot left of this turret in the bottom lane here for Cincinnati Fear. You can keep seeing that gold lead grow very early. Kraken Slayer there too. Got a bit of an animal hit stop here for Nem9.
That makes a lot of sense. If there was an animal I had to picture Nemesis 9 saying, the T-Rex makes a lot of sense, just looking at the way he plays League of Legends.
Yeah. Talk me through that one. What makes the T-Rex make sense? I want to hear it.
So I play D&D a lot, right? T-Rexes, everybody wants to fight a T-Rex.
You a druid guy? Is that where this is going?
Yeah, no. Everybody wants to fight a T-Rex whenever they see it in D&D. They're like, yeah, I'll fight it. And that's Nemesis 9, right? People look at him and you're just like, all right, yeah, I'll go against him, right?
He's got a punchable face. Is that what you're saying?
No. It's just like, you look at it and you're just like, okay, yeah. We'll just go for a fight. It could be a fun time. And then the T-Rex hits you. And the T-Rex does an immense amount of damage. And that's what Nemesis 9 is like. Nemesis 9 is like, you want to go in for those little exchanges and whatnot. But then when you try to, you're like, this is such a fun little combat experience that we're having. And then it hits you with like a bite attack. And it's just like, it's over. It's done. You have to roll a new character all of a sudden because it just does way too much damage and it one-shots you. That's Nemesis 9.
I like that. Unassuming, but will murder you. I get it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. I can get behind that. You know, he's just a little Yasuo player. He didn't hurt nobody.
He's also running Conqueror, which I talked about last time. I don't like, but you know that's another story.
you did give the foreshadowing here, so we know how you feel about Nemesis 9's rune choices. But hey, he's just a little T-Rex. You know, he don't hurt nobody.
Just a little T-Rex.
He's got little baby arms. Yeah, he can't reach the rune page.
Has to go through and do presets only. I get it.
Yeah, he's got the the inspiration, the sorcery or whatever. You know those like preset ones. What precision? Yep. What do they call it? Like it's like precision the mastery or something. I don't know.
I see that. Yeah. Coulter is also found himself in a rough area here. A Xenoblade catches him out, but it was all a bait. Rated 8 out of 8. The curtain call comes in, and it's the end of Plus as he gets taken out. Collateral damage. Coulter.
Yeah, a bit of a miscommunication there, honestly, because if you're Plux and you're Blaze, you're thinking maybe you can go for this fight, but Blaze doesn't activate the ultimate. Has it now, but
he's ascending now, but Super Mega Effort doesn't hit its target, does threaten Pockets off. They're looking to run it back, see if they can retreat, get him on the back, and they do just that. Coulter finds 2 kills bot lane.
Just not enough members there to back him up for Cincinnati Fear. It is Plux and Blaze going down one at a time in this lane, and AOE Randoms, they're going to pick up a turret for it as well. Trade across the map, of course, but this is as good as it's going to get for AOE.
And AOE needs these kind of moments here. The problem is Cincinnati Fear do get the Rift Herald in mid lane, right? They are going to get a tower, and that's more gold over the Sketch, right? Even though they have to split it. They are getting more gold into the sheets. It's 1-0-3 right now.
Yeah, look at this too. We have a teleport from Blaze, just making sure to set up very, very early for this dragon. Last game, AOE Randoms were the ones who picked up the first 2 Drakes. This time, Cincinnati Fear, they've got the first 2. And you can tell that they're a bit stronger at this stage as well. Maybe they need to wait for the Demonic Ascension, but once that is up, these team fights are not going to be particularly close with the lead that Cincinnati Fear has. So they almost surely will get this next Drake if the fight goes on as expected, I'll say. So AOE Randoms, they really need to bring out the unexpected.
Yeah, they need to catch somebody, right? They need to bag and tag somebody off here onto the side and see if they can get some sort of a little bit of an advantage inside the 5v5. You can see Cincinnati Fear, they want to catch out any member here, and AOE Randoms is so split apart at the moment.
You got Demonic Ascension, you got Cannon Barrage. Something is about to happen.
Yeah, and it's Plutz who's getting sent over to the afterlife almost. Super Mega Effort goes into the backline, but Plutz is a sacrificial tribute. 2 kills, goes over the Psycho, and now it's the curtain call as Cincinnati Fear is on the retreat, as it is AOE Randoms pushing them back away from this Dragon Pit. Still full HP available for Sketch. They are just going to sacrifice this Mountain Drake.
Expect the unexpected when it comes to AOE Randoms, they say. That's going to be a denial of the Drake Soul Point, and the way they played around the terrain in that fight was super cool. The way that they just had that river brush, or the wall there on the entrance to the river on the bottom side of mid lane, really cool. They just played around that one and brought a couple of members from Cincinnati Fear out of their comfort zone on the other side of that wall, and you just can't do anything once you get there. Blaze is really trying to play in the middle of this fight, as you can see here now. Plux, he's the first to go in. Nobody can get to him. You can see Sketch, he's really trying to get these auto attacks off, but the terrain is making it so difficult. And again, another kill onto Blaze. These 2 guys, they can't quite have this backup ready. The rest of the team is just not playing on the same range and on the same wavelength as these 2.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed the fact, like, oh my god, looking at the damage from Dragoon, right? Like, he puts out a good amount of damage, but like you were talking about, the terrain, the way they're playing around it, and even the fact that AoE randoms decided not to over chase there too, right? Because we did see at the end of that replay, we saw Sketch free firing off a couple rockets, Dragoon setting up some barrels, Trickster is getting ready to start trying to jump around inside of the fight, and all it takes is one kill to reset things and put things back into the favor of Fear. And AoE randoms, they are recognizing that condition. It's very much so controlled game from them.
Cincinnati Fear need to do some landscaping in these next few fights to make sure they get over the terrain. And that is why this broadcast is sponsored by... No, I'm just kidding.
I was ready for the pitch, honestly.
Could you imagine how good that transition would be if we
that would be really good. That was a
sponsor right there.
Yeah, that very good sponsor. Unfortunately, not many landscaping people advertise for esports events, but
I think we have talking about a landscaping company there, Travis. But that's okay.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Again, no free press. We're not going to say the name unless you want to sponsor.
You can send your email to Smats.
Something,
yeah.
Not
Smats.
me, probably, but
DM
that's
Smats on
job.
Twitter with your ideas.
Ooh, look at those.
Sketch getting cut out. Quickening is there, but Pocket takes a lot of damage for this. He's not no tank or con. Psycho has to flash away as well. Blaze looking to see if he can get in range. Super Mega Def Rocket going to get caught by Cold Throw. Trickster looking for an angle over here onto the side. Ooh. Does not catch him with the stun, but he wants blood, and he finds just that. Trickster gets out with the kill.
Okay, it looks like Cincinnati Fear are in fact going to capitalize off of Sketch's outplay there. Did you see where he dropped those traps so quick on the draw there too? Really nice stuff. And now with AoE randoms, their main source of crowd control in these team fights, it's gone. Looks like Cincinnati Fear are actually confident enough to move into this Baron, but they've got the flank support set up.
Yeah, Dragoon's over here onto the side, has the barrels available. This is going to be the turnaround. They go in. Nice use of the ult from Azir, but here's that demonic ascension looking to march forward. Cold Throw takes out Flutz. Yemis does a super huge amount of damage inside of the fight, but he does get dropped, but he takes out Sketch before he falls. This stops Fear from being able to go for the Baron, and now AoE randoms, they are in the driver's seat. They are looking to push forward. It is nothing else that they're going to be able to do to stop this either. Dragoon is going to fall, and now it's just the two members of Fear. They are routed completely from their mid lane tower.
Is it just me, or are AoE randoms winning this game right now, Travesty? This is some nice stuff in these fights. They, again, are able to remove Blaze from the inside of the fight. Blaze can't fully commit because his team doesn't have the same backup, and he can't stay out because then his demonic embrace, or demonic ascension, excuse me, it wears off. He can't do anything at that point. The ultimate from Swain is only effective depending on how long you can stay in the middle of everything, and Blaze just has not been able to do that in this game. AoE randoms shutting him down once more, and it's proving again to be super difficult, but this is maybe a Baron setup.
They don't know that it's happening either right now. They have no vision. They didn't walk across any of the wards there, so there you go. They are going to be looking to march forward. They catch out one member. Flutz is caught out, but will he be able to get dropped? The answer to that question is no. All 5 members of Fear are alive after sneaking the Baron.
Wow. That is just one of those moments where you gotta be so bold to make a play like that. Cincinnati Fear, they don't find the favorable turn on the previous Baron spawn immediately at 20 minutes, but they say, hey, it's all right. We still have the rotations down, and we have the wave setups in the bottom lane. You can see they're actually not missing too much in that bottom lane. It's even pushing out for them right now, and they already have this wave set up top too. Like, that was just, again, a good map read from Cincinnati Fear where they're able to move over to that Baron, and AoE randoms, they're on reset. They can't do anything about it. Even though they did just win that last team fight, they can't do anything around it. They have to try now, though.
They're looking for it. Get a couple shots off. All 4 shots go out. Only 3 of them hit. Let's looking to find out Pockets, and will succeed at doing just that. As Pockets is so far away from the rest of his team, he needs to run for the hills, but He does get stunned. Thankfully, Psycho is there to lend an arm for him to be able to get out of danger.
Escape there for Pocus. This is getting tricky for AoE randoms, though, at this point. No Baron again. We saw this happen in the last game where they have a really solid team fight composition. They've got frontline this time. They got the damage again with Nemesis 9. He's playing this is Year. And they even have some setup with Rakan and the Jhin. But you can't 5v5 team fight when the enemy team has Baron. You're just going to lose too much if Cincinnati Fear is competent with their split push. And they showed it to us last game. They're showing it to us again right now. Really nice stuff again from Cincinnati Fear. And it's on AoE randoms to probably just stall the Baron out.
Yeah, it is completely on them. I think this is the interesting thing, too, because Cincinnati Fear in the last game, they were the ones that were able to... This is their break point, right? This is where Fear just immediately took control of the game. And yet again, we're kind of in this moment where we're waiting to see if Fear just takes a huge advantage from this point forward. And it'll be interesting, right? Like, yet again, it gets to that team fighting phase. Once the mid game hits, once the items hit, is this just where Fear is just a different beast?
This is where we're going to have to find out. So they've got this front line here for AoE randoms, trying to back up their carries. Still a little bit left on this Baron, but again, they are sort of bleeding resources left and right. Can we talk about the amount of Jhin traps in that mid lane?
There's
a graveyard over there.
He's got 4, of course.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Good call there.
It'd be a sin if it wasn't.
What do you think? Do you think the other like characters in Runeterra lore? Do you think they like they get like a little tingly when they hear the number 4? Like, do you think Jhin is like ruined that number for everybody else? Or maybe worse yet, do you think that he's just like annoying and he like shows up at parties and he's like, "Hey guys, 4," and they're like, "Oh yeah, we get it, Jhin. All right." We
like
get
he brings
it.
like the cake that he brings like 4 cupcakes to every party, and
yeah.
I can see him being that type.
He wears 4 shoes. It's like, why are you wearing 4? You only have 2 feet, man. He's like, oh yeah, that's what you think.
And then
I don't know where I'm going.
He puts 2 of the shoes on his hands, and then yeah. He crawls over at you. Yeah. I could see him doing that, honestly.
What if under that mask, Jin's the type of guy to fully commit to the bit, and he only has 4 teeth?
Honestly, I feel like you're ruining this character for everybody who's ever fantasized. Well, you can see Psycho is looking to ruin some days right now as Plutz gets dropped immediately.
Yeah, and there's no response here either because they don't have the Baron anymore. There's no real way for them to engage, and again, we're seeing that Cincinnati Fear, they're kind of struggling when it comes to those team fights. They kind of just have to give over these advantages and then kind of hope that they don't have the same issue later because they're still trying to scale up. There is a lot of scaling in Cincinnati Fear, and it's not super clear which team scales better, in my opinion, this time around, which is different from the last game, where I would definitely say the AoE randoms, they had the late game. If it got to that point, Cincinnati Fear don't have that burden this time around. They can rely on the execution later. But again, that execution kind of hasn't been there for this game so far.
Hasn't quite been able to find the mark. Getting into that 27-minute mark, Mountain Dragon is about to come up. Both teams are at the point now where one dragon will put them at soul point. So AoE randoms definitely got to be looking at that as a very viable way for them to get back in. Mountain Soul would be a huge boon to them.
Either team, really. For sure, AoE randoms there. They get 4 stacked. You're not killing that Cho'Gath. That's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite literally never happened. He's got an elixir of iron. Look at him.
Yeah.
He only has 2 items, but he wants to be big.
I support him in this cause. Disruption commence. Onto Blaze. Not a lot of magic damage besides the Swain either, so he's got a lot of 8 armor. It's hard to punch through this big boy. He's omnomming away. Here's the engage. Looking to go forward. Plutz, the huge shuffle from Nemesis 9. Pushes everybody back. Plutz drops. They're still looking for more kills. Super Mega Death Rocket is not available to finish off any of these low HP bars, but Cincinnati Field do come out on top and are heading over to this Mountain Dragon.
They
Teleport?
you might not say they come out on top for long. They can secure this one, but the oncoming fight is really difficult.
Yes, Pockets is looking for an angle onto the side, but he's getting chunked down by Sketch. Nemesis 9 over here onto the side. They got the blast cone if they decide to take it. The chase is still continuing onward. Nemesis 9 is here to cut off their escape, but doesn't have the divide available. No ultimate ability there. That's going to end off with Cincinnati Fear getting out okay with that dragon.
And it was so close for AOE Randoms to be able to capitalize off of that, but I guess you were right here, Travesty. The low HP bars really were the kicker there. Cincinnati Fear did chunk enough people down, and even though none of them ended up dying, they got everything they wanted out of that fight. They got the dragon. That is the only thing that they need at this point, because again, you have to keep considering that Cincinnati Fear, they are okay with how this game is going. They don't need to put the pedal to the metal this time around. They can kick back and relax, and that's, again, what they're doing. They may have gone for that engage, but it was with one purpose in mind, just to get the dragon.
Yeah. Now you can see Tiger getting tagged up a bit. A little bit of damage, a little bit of poke. Cincinnati Fear looking to try and gain control. This game's been at a stalemate for the past 9 minutes. Like, neither team has really found a definitive edge to be able to take control of the game. And now we're seeing the dance around Baron. And this was a deciding objective in the last game.
That's what Fear wants. Again, they've been playing around the Baron better than AOE Randoms in this series. They have been able to stall this game out, and well, they might be looking to start it up again. This is, of course. It's Cincinnati Fear. They're going to start this one up, of course.
They're looking for it. They're trying to see if they can. Teleports are not available, so it is AOE randoms that just have to run at them. Here comes another 5v5, but Plutz gets put over on the wrong neighborhood. He gets dropped. Psycho on a rampage. Curtain Call comes in to lay in the damage. A beautiful shuffle by Nemesis 9 finds the kill, and it's 2 kills in favor of AOE random. Sketch goes golden. Tritzer in the backline is doing the work that is needed. And he's looking to continue forward. He is now the Cho'Gath. He is the nightmare in which they think about. And Tritzer's looking to see if he can pop off, win something for his team.
Oh, no.
But Psycho is laying in. The damage is dominating. And it's only Dragoon left standing.
AOE Randoms are winning these team fights. And Cincinnati Fear, they may have the guts to go for the Baron like that, but they just can't win the team fights. Nemesis 9 with the flank as well. Such a great setup from them. Look at this. They have all the time in the world because, again, Cincinnati Fear, super bold to start up this Baron, and it gives AOE Randoms a ton of time to collect themselves and get into position. They are able to dispatch Plux immediately, and then look at Nemesis. Brings everybody that got ruptured directly into the waiting arms of the Cho'Gath. Blaze is again unable to get a team fight down that is preferable for the Swain, and it's just so nice from AOE Randoms. This is the team that is so creative in these team fights that can find these angles when no other team could. And that is what we're seeing right now. They might be able to take this game against the finalists.
Psycho is currently 6 kills, 1 death, 5 assists. Psycho is having a fantastic game here. A great series, honestly, altogether. Had a great time on the Jinx in the last game as well. But now on the Jhin, a completely different style champion and all reliable for Psycho. Really showing people why you need to keep an eye on this player.
We Randoms, they're relying on him a lot in this game to give all of that damage and all of the utility for the fights. You've been able to see it every single time that they have just all this kiting capability, specifically with the Jhin, but also the Cho'Gath doing a phenomenal job of keeping Swain away from everybody. And that's something that Blaze just has not been able to overcome at all. Dragoon's dealing the damage on Gangplank, but he can't quite finish people off. He doesn't have the full build yet. And we're seeing at the bottom of our screen, it's telling a different story. The gold graph is very blue, and it has been all game, but AOE Randoms are still finding these angles.
Yeah, AOE Randoms still doing a good job of doing that. They're looking to sneak this. I mean, Geiger has teleport. So does Nemesis 9. They could easily come in for the play. Blaze is looking to teleport. They are calling the bluff. Buckets is going in, finds two members on a beautiful ultimate. It is Sketch who's dropped down critically low and is not going to find this attack. No, the current call gets him on the side. Is it enough? Cincinnati Fear, though, they have the numbers advantage in the fight. The fourth shot goes off, gets himself one kill. It is a 2v2, and it is Trister who's trying to see if he can finish things off, but it's just not enough. Psycho stands tall with Colt Throw.
Psycho's doing it again. Both of our eyes were looking directly at how he was going to be able to kill Sketch, and he got that curtain call shot off. Really nicely done, able to play on the outskirts of this team fight. And look at his HP bar as well, super low in the end. Oh, okay, he doesn't have Gale Force. I was getting worried for Blaze for a moment, but he's going to be okay.
Blaze needs to retreat, but this is now the second time in a row that Fear has tried to bait a Baron or tried to sneak a Baron, and it gets foiled. Look at how Pockets turns this fight into their favor.
Gotta check this one out, because he's able to chunk Sketch just so ridiculously low, and even though AOE randoms are playing in the middle of this gangplank ultimate, it's just not quite enough to actually take them all down. I really like the way that they're able to deal all this damage to Psycho in the end, but Trickster, he's just not quite enough on the Jhin, and Blaze, he is not quite able to land all that damage. Psycho survives, and are we finally seeing AOE randoms with a gold lead? No, they're still not
they're
there.
Still down.
Dragoon is still dealing the most damage in these fights. Dragoon is doing so much work.
I mean, it's Dragoon is doing a great job of putting out the damage, but I think you've talked about it numerous times where it's just the HP bars, they take a walloping, but they have so much HP to work through with Geiger, right? Like, Geiger's HP bar is massive at this current moment in time, and they cannot get a decisive team fight. They can't get onto Psycho, and it's been a lot of Pockets finding great engages. We're on the Baron, but this time it's AOE randoms that are the ones that are starting. Blaze looking to see if he can get his way in. Sketch looking to see if he can tag some people with a couple decisive zaps. Good little bit of damage to get a nice catch onto Azir. The Emperor doesn't go down. The charm is there. Nemesis 9 tries to shuffle, builds the wall, and knocks them down. But look over into the backline. Psycho gets jumped onto by two members. AOE randoms trying to see what they'll be able to do. But yet again, the Viego is left alive, trying to see what he can do with Blaze, laying in some good damage, but it's just not enough. It is AOE random standing tall yet again.
They're playing together better right now, Travesty. They take the Baron, they take the team fight. I think they might have enough to win the game right now. Only a couple of turrets and an inhibitor and a Nexus stand between AOE randoms and a third game. And finally, right this moment, do they get the gold lead for the first time in the game?
I think they will. They got it. They got the gold lead for the first time in the game, and it will be the last time for sure. They're ending the game right now. Blutz gets dropped. Pad the KDA a little bit more. You deserve it. AOE randoms find game number 2.
I'm telling you, Travesty, this team is fun. They know how to team fight. They know how to play with each other, and they know how to do it in just spectacular fashion. I mean, who else is playing Cho'Gath top? Tell me. I can't.
I can't. I don't have a name to give you. And I look over at this team and I'm just amazed, honestly. Like the way they play that, they were behind the entire game, Smats. The entire game. Like, how do you persevere through all of that?
Yeah. It was phenomenal from the AOE randoms over there. They're taking us to that game through. I told you. They've got the Gabrielle buff, the manager. It's all because of her. I'm telling you right now. They could not have done it without Gabrielle. And just the teamwork of the entire squad as well. Of course, Psycho's Jhin, man. Woo, that was a great performance from him. And the entire squad just rallying together. You can't play Swain into that, it turns out. I'm learning some new things. That is not the comp that you want to play Swain into.
We're learning a lot here for sure, man. Hey, look, we need a break. We need to get ourselves ready. We're going into game number 3 here. I think the teams, they got to get themselves prepared, see how they can adapt, see what Smats buffs they need to adjust inside of the going into the next game. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our break and we'll be right back.